Number 6. Graphics overlay. This is one of the bigger issues the game has objectively, not as a fan of the original. See, the new graphics are simply overlaid over the old graphics, hence why the gameplay is identical. But this means everything, and I mean everything, has to be precisely designed and scaled so they match the original models, otherwise it doesn't really work. But there are a number of instances where this is not the case. Here's an example. In the level Halo, I typically reach the first group of enemies and I like to jump up onto the rock here and snipe the enemies with the pistol. So I take a shot at this grunt, but what's this? I'm not hitting him. You can see it right here, the crosshair is clearly right on him, but I'm not hitting him. So then we switch to the old graphics and, oh look, the wall comes out further than in the newer graphics. So while it looks like I have a clear shot, I actually don't, because I have to check 2 planes of existence in case there's something I can't bloody see there. Now, I'm well aware that there probably aren't all that many people who do this, so it may not have been noticed in playtesting. I question why they didn't simply retexture the same map, but let's move on to another section. Here, you see the sniping section at the start of the level Truth and Reconciliation. In this section, the game recommends using the sniper rifle to take out the enemy quietly, despite the incredibly loud noise the rifle makes. The game even gives you an achievement if you manage to succeed. So I line up my shot on this guy and shoot, but again, nothing happens. A quick switch of the graphics reveals that the ground extends further here. Now, I'd very much like to know how no one noticed this. For a start, you're expected to do this, and they must have done testing to at least see if the achievement unlocked properly, yet no one noticed this crippling flaw. Look, the idea of switching between the 2 styles on the fly is brilliant, and I love it, but when it starts affecting gameplay like this, they really should have either put in more time to make sure everything matched up, or just removed the feature entirely. I'm sure there are other places this crops up, but I'd like to point out one in particular. In the library, there's a wall towards the end of the level, as you can see here, that you can walk through. I came across this accidentally while playing co-op, but it's not a case of misjudging how far the floor or wall goes. It's a bizarre redesign where what seems to be a door is closed in the new version when it was open in the original. If this had been intentional to conceal a skull or other Easter egg, I'd understand, but I really don't see how you could screw this up while mapping the area. Again, proving that they probably should have just retextured everything instead of redesigning it. And I'm not sure if this is related to this, but it wasn't in the original, so I'm inclined to believe it is. It's a common occurrence for a weapon to get stuck in a wall spinning. I've seen this many times in the game, and it should really have been noticed during playtesting, assuming they did any at all. Number 7. Lighting. This is one of those that has both positive and negative aspects to it. On the positive, you'll have big open areas like in the level Halo, which has a lot of green grass and it looks great with the newer lighting. It just adds this new level of life and vibrancy to the whole thing. It's really good. But then you have issues with the interiors. Sometimes it's fine, like the Pillar of Autumn, making it a bit brighter is okay, but then you get the levels dealing with the flood in the latter half of the game. This is supposed to be more horror-ish, I guess, so that's why it's supposed to be really dark and the flashlight becomes more important. In this version though, everything's just really bright, so it kind of takes away the fear factor what little there already was, and it does kind of hamper the experience somewhat. Number 8. Multiplayer. Considering that all the gameplay was exactly the same, you'd think the multiplayer would be as well, but no. This game doesn't have multiplayer. What they did instead was make an anniversary map pack. A map pack for Halo Reach consisting of a bunch of classic Halo maps, which is fine, though I would have preferred it to be just Halo 1 maps instead of going into ones from later games. It's fine having those maps, but since it's Halo 1 anniversary, you kind of expect it to all be based around Halo 1. They also added another map for Halo Reach's Firefight mode, which is based on the level Halo, and as a first for that mode, has AI allies to help you out. Pretty cool. Though, it's a shame they didn't do more with this idea. Number 9. How I'd have done it. Had I been in charge of this remake, here's how I'd have done it. If the title wasn't obvious enough. A. Do a poll asking fans what gameplay mechanics they wanted included, or just go with Halo 4's gameplay, giving the fans a taste of what's to come, even if it wasn't very good. B. Add enemies from later games such as brutes, drones and other flood forms because, canonically, they're supposed to have always been there, so their absence at this point just seems weird. C. Add vehicles from later games such as falcons, mongoose and even scarabs. Imagine a scarab encounter in, I don't know, Assault on the Control Room. D. Add weapons from later games such as DMRs, needle rifles and fuel rod guns. E. Add newer concepts such as ODSTs and newer Covenant ranks. F. Add new levels based around supporting characters, as I said before. Hell, some games do this with ports a few years later, so why not a remake a decade later? G. Add physics. Enemies dying in the silly Halo 1 animations looks really out of place these days. H. Make all the designs consistent with Halo 1's. I. Keep the same sound effects. J. Fix the start of 2 Betrayals so the Chief starts not with the plasma pistol and shotgun, but with an assault rifle like he has in the cutscene. And also make sure the rifle doesn't clip through the Chief's chest armour. So you see, Halo Anniversary should have been a very easy thing to make, but they managed to screw up so much of it. Still, there were some good new features like the online co-op, so I'm willing to give them another chance when they inevitably turn around and make Halo 2 Anniversary. And hey, if it got new people interested in the series, that's always a good thing, right? It's just a shame that the next game they'd get was an absolute fucking disaster. And I'm going to tell you all about it next time.